This is how I cool down my boiled eggs in a hurry. A little bit of ice, a little bit of water. I'm hungry. And I most certainly need to get groceries today. I'm getting low on food. But before I go to town to get groceries, I have a small project that I want to work on. Hopefully it goes okay. It should be fairly easy and straightforward, but with me, you just never know. Definitely getting the fall-like temperatures these days. A little over 20 degrees Celsius outside. 22 in here. I was just boiling eggs, so that helped warm it up a bit. Obviously not quite cold enough yet to put the pipe back on the wood stove and you know, have fires or anything. But it is cool enough most evenings now that I run my diesel heater. Usually I shut it off before bed, just to kind of save on fuel or whatever, because when I'm sleeping, it's warm, I'm in the fleece sheets, but when I get up in the mornings, it's usually fairly cool, and then I might need to turn the diesel heater back on again. Today's little project involves this guy right here. It is called a Burek CD thermostat. It's a little remote. If you're not familiar with diesel heaters, basically when they're powered on and they're running, the blower runs continuously, and they do have a little thermostat in the little monitor. However, when your room reaches the desired temperature, your diesel heater continues to run and continues to pump heat. It just might slow down or speed up depending on what the temperature is. That has been known to be a little bit of a flaw, because sometimes when it reaches temperature, and especially if you're in a small space like a car or a van, it's going to continuously pump out heat. And even though you have the temperature set to, say, 18 degrees Celsius, it's probably going to bring your temperature up to like 23, 24 degrees Celsius, which isn't what you have it set for, but it's because it just doesn't shut off. It continuously pumps heat. Several years ago when I first purchased a diesel heater, several of you in the comments had mentioned this remote, Burek, and I remember looking into it even then, but I just never pulled the trigger and bought it. However, recently I've been thinking about it more and more, and it would be super ideal for me to have, especially because I work long hours, and in the middle of winter my fire goes out. Before, I was just setting my diesel heater timer to come on, but I never know exactly when my fire is going to go out. I never know what the temperature is going to go to. So for that reason, I think this remote is going to be super handy. What it does essentially is when it reaches a desired temperature, it shuts down, just like your thermostat for your RV furnace would do. When your furnace is running and it reaches the temperature you have it set to, it shuts down. And then once it senses that it gets below said temperature, it'll start back up again. So essentially that's what this remote is supposed to do for your diesel heater, is actually shut it down, which in turn will help save fuel. And if it works out the way I think it should, or it's going to, I should just be able to leave it programmed all the time. And then when it dips below a certain temperature, my diesel heater should turn on. Fingers crossed it's going to work that way, but in theory, it should, right? So this is what the remote looks like. It's just got a little screen, 5 buttons here. This remote only works with certain diesel heater remotes. I have a diesel heater outside of my window here. I just have the heat coming in here. That particular diesel heater comes with a very simple 4-button remote. Apparently this Burek remote will only pair with remotes that are simple like this. You know, the simple ones with 4 buttons. They're incompatible with remotes like this with the screen. Sorry, it's really scratched up or dirty or something. Yeah, apparently they're incompatible with the fancy digital remotes. So it won't work with something like this. This remote is for this diesel heater here, which, you know, I had the heat coming out through the wall here and the diesel heater was installed under there. However, that diesel heater is currently not working, and I never bothered taking it apart to see what was going on with it. I just bought my new one that I've got back outside again, and yeah, I haven't had time for the other one, and I'm not too worried about it. As long as I have one, I should be okay. So knowing that that remote should pair with something like this works out for me quite well, because this is the remote for the operational diesel heater I have out here. I'm actually just on their website right now, and it shows you the compatibility. So these are the known compatible remotes for your diesel heater that will work with this Burek remote. So see, they're all the simple 4-button ones without the screens. There's the one I have. And then down below, these are the known incompatible remotes. So any of the ones with the fancy digital display screens, it's not going to work on a diesel heater that comes with those types of remotes, apparently. And if you're curious, the website also talks about the reason why they created these remotes, and it says,
last year we decided to purchase a 5-kilowatt Chinese diesel heater to heat a truck build during winter. We were disappointed to discover that it was oversized for the space and continued to heat even on its lowest settings. The various stock thermostats didn't offer a simple solution. Tampering with the controllers felt too invasive. We decided that building an aftermarket version of the stock remote would be the simplest, most universal solution.
That is why they created this remote and came up with this small business. First and foremost, no affiliation. I bought this. I just went on the website and purchased it. The price is in USD. I believe I paid 70 USD for this remote plus 15 USD shipping. And in Canadian, I'll try to put that on the screen here. It was definitely over $100, which I know you can buy a diesel heater for that amount pretty much now. However, if this works, it should be well worth what I paid for it, because I should just be able to leave it programmed all the time. And when my home dips to a certain temperature, my diesel heater should come on. As long as there is fuel in my diesel heater, like diesel in there, it should come on and heat my space. So if it does work the way it's supposed to, then it should be well worth the money for me, yes. Like I said, no affiliation. I have no idea how well this remote is going to work. Let me be your guinea pig if you're thinking of buying one. I'll let you know. Because the plan for today is to go ahead and set it up and test it out over the next few days, weeks, months. I'm hoping that it's going to be well worth the money. Yeah. I noticed it's got a little like charge port underneath, which I went and dug out a cord that I have that'll fit that. I don't know if I'm going to need that for the initial pairing of the remotes to get it all set up, but I always just use the remote usually for this diesel heater. I still haven't looked into the timer function on this one. It's totally different than my other one, and honestly less user-friendly when it comes to the timer option. My hope is that with this remote, if it does what it should do, that I won't need the timer option, because I should just be able to set it to my desired temperature and then just leave it. So I shouldn't need the timer to come on, you know? Also, where are all these flies? Where are all these flies coming in? They're everywhere in here right now. Okay, thank goodness for YouTube, because you know your girl doesn't like reading instructions. There's a whole video on how to do this, and I'm gonna watch that and educate myself. Also, I figured out that if it comes with a battery, which mine does, you might need to plug it in to charge it. So I'm going to do that and watch videos and hopefully figure out how to operate this. I've got it plugged in. Hopefully it's charging at the same time it's displaying this. And I'm going to go ahead and watch these videos now. Okay. Well, this one's very long, 18 minutes and 29 seconds. I better watch this long 18-minute video so I can hopefully get a better idea. Your girl is not very tech savvy. Have I mentioned that?
This is a video to act as the user manual for your Burek C thermostat.
It's true. Okay. I've been watching videos and I thought it was going to be a little more simple than it is. I tried to watch videos done by the actual company, Burek, and I don't know, it just wasn't simple enough for me. When it comes to tech type things, I need things to be as simple as possible. Teach it to me like I am a 5-year-old child. No, 5-year-olds probably are more tech savvy than me. I can't even say that. Well, you get what I'm saying. I know the first thing I need to do is clone this remote to that remote. So I'm just going to do this in a step-by-step process and hope that I don't screw anything up. Definitely not going to be a how-to video. This is a cross your fingers and hope that I can get it to work video. Yeah. Clone remote. Enter. Waiting for on code. On code received. I just turned on and now my diesel heater's doing stuff. Waiting for off code. Off code received. There we go. Success. Successfully copied remote codes. Okay. Now I have to finish watching the video and see what the next step is. Oh, no. I think I see what's happening. Okay, I see what's happening. My diesel heater turned itself on, you guys, and I know why. I switched this remote from Fahrenheit to Celsius. However, this number down here I had set to Fahrenheit and it stayed that number in Celsius. Up here it's saying 29 Celsius, which that's supposed to be like the outside temperature for this remote. The reason why it's so high is because it's charging and it's in my warm hands. But the reason why the diesel heater is firing on is because it still says 60 Celsius, which I don't want it at 60 Celsius. So I'm going to turn that way down. I must have communicated properly because the diesel heater did shut down when I put the temperature down lower. I like this. As long as it's going to work like I'm hoping it's going to work. There are all these settings called swing temperatures, and I don't know anything about that. I have some research to do. I have a lot to learn about this controller. But I do like that I can have it set and my diesel heater is going to fire on when it reaches a certain temperature. That's all I wanted it for. And now it's acting like it's turning back on again, so I'm very confused. Unless it's just still in the cool down phase. I don't know. So I noticed something. My monitor lights up every time this remote flashes red. Yep, see, it lit up again and so did my monitor. Very weird. I don't know why it's flashing red on the remote. Like I said, I thought it was because when I had it plugged in, it was showing me that it was charging. I have more research to do, you guys. Okay, I'm still over here plugging away at this remote and trying to learn. I had to calibrate the temperature because it was reading 27 even when I wasn't touching it and it wasn't plugged in, charging, so there shouldn't have been any reason it was reading that high. That is the current temperature in here, 21 degrees Celsius. Can I help you? Were you feeling lonely? You had to come up and, okay. You had to come up and check it all out. You just don't be pushing any buttons there. You might roast us out or something, okay? You leave that remote control alone. Alright. So yeah, I think I mentioned it, I'm not sure. These remotes either come with a battery, which means you can just put it wherever and it'll last like 5, 6, 7 days before you need to recharge it. Or you can buy one without a battery, which means you have to have it plugged in constantly. It's a little bit cheaper by like $20 for the one without the battery, but then you have to have it plugged into a power source at all times. I chose the one with the battery. I had it plugged in for a little while. It does show the battery life on the remote too. Yeah, this right up here shows your battery life. And I have the setting to, let's see if I can find it here. One second, I think I have to hit these two buttons at the same time. Takes you to your settings. Use battery, yes. Failsafe, yes. From what I understand from a video, the fail-safe option being on means that when your battery on your remote gets low, you'll get a message saying it needs to be charged, or I can't remember exactly what the message is, but this is so that if the battery dips so low that it shuts itself off, your heater is going to be stuck in whatever mode it was set to. So if your heater was running and the remote shuts off from low battery, your heater will probably continue to run. If your heater wasn't on and your remote dies before you have a chance to recharge the battery, your heater probably won't come on. Because this is now taking the role of your diesel heater remote, so keep that in mind. Another one of the disadvantages that I saw about in a video is, of course, you know, where you're going to be starting up at a lower temperature all the time. You might get a buildup of soot in your diesel heater, and they're kind of known for that. One way to avoid having that soot buildup is to start your diesel heater or shut it off at a higher temperature. So that is one disadvantage. There is a chance that you might get a soot buildup, and sometimes your diesel heater does not like to work properly when that happens. And a lot of times the only way to fix that problem is to take it apart and open up the burn chamber and get rid of your soot. So that is definitely a disadvantage to having this remote. Something to consider if you're considering it. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and make some supper because I'm hungry, just something small to get me through, and then I'm going to head into town to get my groceries. And I'm just going to let this sit and do its thing. I know this evening it's supposed to cool down, so I'm curious to see once it reaches my desired temperature, if it's just going to turn itself on, and you know, how long it's going to stay on and run until it shuts itself off again. I'll let you guys know. I'm just playing around with it at this point and seeing what it does. I just filled my heater with fuel all the way to the brim here. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I have it set to 17 degrees Celsius because anything cooler than that, it's a little cool. Through the night, I'm assuming it's going to come on and off then in that case, because it's definitely going to go below that tonight. You know you need groceries when? I just fried up a little pork schnitzel and cut it up into pieces. That's going to be my supper tonight, you guys. Nothing fancy. I've been messing with this remote instead of going to town and getting my groceries. So once I get this into me, I'm going to go to town, I'm going to get my groceries. And then we'll come back, and by then, it should be cool enough out that I would think the diesel heater would either be kicking on by then, or soon after it should kick on when the temperature dips low enough. So, also, before I forget, and in case anyone asks, you can use this remote on more than one diesel heater, as long as it's compatible, which, you know, I've shown you the compatibility thing earlier. So how you do it is you clone your remote like I did earlier with mine, and then if you have a second diesel heater, you pair that remote, apparently, on with this remote. I don't know. Do your research, definitely. From what I've watched and what I gather, you can run 2 diesel heaters off of that remote. 19.8 in here. That makes sense. It's still showing this thermometer as 20. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like 28. It's 20. And it's saying 17 is what I have it set to. So it's still not ready to kick on yet. Which is cool. I don't mind waiting. I should have showed you just how empty my fridge was before, but yep, you gotta play adult Tetris sometimes. And the freezer's not too bad at all. Full fridge means happy Jenna. I am cold, you guys, and I'm tired of just waiting for this to do something. It's like, yeah, it's less than 12 degrees outside, so I'm just gonna go ahead and switch this from 17 to 18 once I figure out how. Here we go. 18. It should say heating. Okay, I messed with it a bit because it's so cold in here. I said that my desired temperature was 25, and because I had it in my hand, it went up a degree, so now it's saying it's 19 in here, but it's actually just under 18. But it does say heating right there, if you can see. And since the swing temperature is set to 4 degrees, maybe that's why it wasn't saying heating right away. If I had it, you know, narrowed down to about 1 or 2, maybe it would have come on if I had set it to 19 or 20. I have it set to 25, so my diesel heater is starting up now. It's a little warm in here, maybe a little too warm. 3:08 in the morning. I know, I'm insane, but I got started on going through all my clothes in the cupboard up there and, you know, going through them to donate some stuff. And yeah, now I'm finding it a little warm. So earlier I had set this to 25, which is why it's so warm in here. Whoops. How do I get back? There we go. I want to change this. I'm going to turn it back down again to something reasonable where it'll just kick on through the night if need be. Back down to 17 where I had it before. And the diesel heater is shutting itself down, actually. So, yeah, this thing's pretty neat. I can still adjust it when I'm here, like for the temperature I want. But now that it's set to 17, because I'm going to bed, it should just come on through the night if the temperature in here dips below 17, sorry. Yeah, pretty cool. Diesel heater is going because I changed it up a little bit. 21 is a pretty ideal temperature. I also changed the swing from 4 to 2. I think that'll make a difference with shutting it off quicker when it actually reaches temperature. So a few more degrees to go, and we'll test it out and see if this shuts off. See if it shuts off on its own when it gets within 2 degrees of 21. Update! Perfect! Diesel heater just shut down. This is a little different from the temperature on my remote, I'm assuming. I had it set to 21, and it reached 21, so the diesel heater shut down. I'm happy! I'm happy about this! Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Same temperature outside, almost. Thinking this is going to be a game changer for me. Not a bad breakfast. French toast, bacon, and yogurt. It's always sad looking up at that cat tree and not seeing Ramsey staring, wondering what I'm over here eating. But he's doing okay, you guys. I'll put some pictures in so you can see what the little bugger's been up to. And yes, I have my Starlink, what do you call that, modem and all that up here right now. I've just headed over here on the ground. It's perfectly aligned right here where it is, or anywhere over here just facing this direction. I took it down off the roof when we went on the houseboat. If you're not aware, I have Roam Unlimited, and it's been great, man. Took it with us when we went out on the houseboat, and where we didn't have cell service, we at least had Wi-Fi. It was great, but I just have been kind of lazy lately and haven't put it back up on the roof yet. For now, it's convenient being down here because when I go anywhere, I can take it with me, and it works out pretty great. But before winter, I'm not going to want it here on the ground. Problem being, when it's up there on the roof, it's actually facing the opposite way it needs to be perfectly aligned. And it still worked great and fast, but it's out of alignment. And I always get that notice on my Starlink app, out of alignment by 180 degrees or whatever it is. Since it's in the background, box truck update. First of all, the Max air fan vent that I put up in the roof a few videos ago, no leaks. We had plenty of rain, really not enough, but plenty of rain to be able to determine if it leaks. Doesn't leak. Second update on the box truck. The next time I work on it, I'll be getting rid of this ugly thing right here, the door. However, it's going to be a little bit before I can work on it because at the end of this month, finally, after months of waiting, it's going in for body work. It's going to be gone for about 2 weeks or so, the guy says. The reason I'm just not getting this done right now is because my schedule is just not allowing me enough time to have it done before it goes in for its body work. And I don't want to take it in there without a door on the back, with just a big open space back here. So obviously that's understandable, right? So that is the update on that. It's going to be a little bit yet before we can get back to it. Just how it is with You know, when you work full time and trying to fit everything in, it's hard sometimes, and sometimes I am my own worst enemy with creating more work for myself and projects that I don't always have time for. But all I can do is all I can do. Fall is coming, and I'm not upset about it. I do love the fall. I just despise what comes next. You know, the big W. Winter. Now that I have that remote, that thermostat, I think it's going to be a game changer in my world. Like I said, no affiliation with the company. I'm not trying to sell you this remote. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you are thinking about it, I will link the website in the description below just because. And if you want to wait and see how it works out for me, that's absolutely fine. I'll be your guinea pig. But I just thought I'd drop it down below in case anybody else is interested in it. Never know, it might be something that works out great for you too. I definitely think in time it's gonna work out better for me because I can kind of get it all dialed in and figure everything out. I was a little confused by the swing temperature doo-hoppy for the longest time. I don't know these kinds of things. I don't know much about in-home heating, thermostats, and whatever, so I googled it and AI answered me. A temperature swing is the thermostat's allowed fluctuation in temperature above or below the set point before the heating or cooling system cycles on or off. A small swing, such as 0.25 degrees, results in frequent short cycles and tighter temperature control. In contrast, a large swing, like 2 degrees plus or minus, leads to less frequent longer cycles, which can be more energy efficient but provide wider temperature variations. So I did go ahead and change my swing cycle from 4 to 2, and that seemed to make a better difference for me. That remote also has 4 timer functions, and what that allows you to do is choose certain times throughout the day that you want your space that you're heating to be at whatever temperature of your choosing. In the winter when it's colder, I might adjust that or use that function, but for right now I just have the remote literally just set to a certain temperature, and I'm just kind of leaving it. I think I have it set to like 18 degrees Celsius in here, but obviously in the winter I'm probably going to want that a little bit higher because these tin cans have little to no insulation, and you really feel the drafts, if you know what I'm saying. But it's going to work out great for me because on those days that I'm working my long hours and my fire goes out, I'm actually going to have something that's going to be able to kick on when it hits a certain temperature, whereas before, yeah, I could set the timer for my diesel heater to turn on, but I had no way of knowing what time my fire was going to be out, what the temperature was going to be in here when the diesel heater came on. So I think this is going to make a huge, huge difference for me this winter. It'll be like having my RV furnace all over again. You know, you set it and forget it. And as long as that remote is charged and my house battery is good and I have diesel, I'm good. I'm excited for winter. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. We're not excited for winter. Are we, man? We are not excited for winter. No, I don't even think you want to be out there with your toe beans in the snow on the catio. Nope. I don't think so. Don't think so. Anyway, I'm going to go fill up my water jugs here and get some other things done. I'm not sure what yet, but there's definitely no shortage of things to be done. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Want to know how many miles this thing has? 149,493. Oh, good. Good. Still starts. And in just about a week and a half's time, I'll no longer have to look at this. Yeah. Nope. Nope. I can't wait. It'll be like a new truck again, hopefully.